Morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone, even though it's a really cold day. The sun's out. Please join us in singing Something Wonderful.
Good morning, everybody. It's a nice, cold, but beautiful sunny day. And welcome to Unity of the Hill Country, where we offer a positive path of spiritual living in peace and love. We'll tie that in today's lesson. The Daily Word has been giving the worldwide unity movement since 1924. And Susan will be our reader today. Come on up, Susan.
Oh, yes, thank you. All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming out today. I hold a vision of a peaceful world. The peace I wish to see in the world begins in my own heart. To call upon the peace within me and bring it into the world, I use my spiritual gift of love to feel in harmony with all others. I use my power of imagination to envision the world filled with peace. And through my gift of will, I choose peaceful responses no matter the circumstances. I envision God's healing, loving power enfolding the earth and all its people. As I claim this spiritual vision, my heart is lifted and it's easier for me to perpetuate peace. The notion that others are holding the same vision of a peaceful world encourages and comforts me. I pray our shared goal of peace on earth touches every heart and mind in every corner of the globe. Those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you. Let's read it again. I hold a vision of a peaceful world. Wonderful.
Thank you, thank you. If you have your cell phones on, will you please silence them? Affirmative prayer is the essential to the unity movement. We honor your prayer and pray with you. All written prayer requests are sent to a 24/7 prayer vigil at the Silent Unity. You can also call the hotline on the screen and submit your prayers online. You will never be alone in prayer. And I would invite Rick Busby, our special guest today, to come up and bless the prayer chest.
Let's take a moment to practice that affirmative prayer. Just for a moment, just kind of draw your attention and your intention into this box. Just hold each thought of prayer in your heart. We may not know the specifics, but we know that love is the answer. Love is the only appropriate response. And so we affirm that the divine good, the divine order of all things is working out in perfect order in the lives and circumstances of those who we pray for. We release that into that circle of love, that infinite, eternal circle of love. And we know that all is well. We also bless each and every person who offered these prayers into this prayer box, into this community, giving us an opportunity to hold the affirmative power of prayer. The transformative and healing power of love is at work in these lives, in these circumstances. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We pray all of this and more in the name and the nature of the indwelling Christ, and so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen.
Thank you, Rick. Please join us in affirming our mission and vision statement: to live consciously, celebrating the divine potential in all, as well as our statement of faith, revealing oneness in the world of universal peace, love, and abundance. And now we're going to have the congregation song.
I think everyone knows this. You can join in and sing with us, please.
Think of your fellow man, give a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me, you just wait and see. Another day goes by and still the children cry, put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know we won't let hatred grow, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me, you just wait and see, wait and see. love in your heart.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. And I know this voice of love, it is singing through my life. It is all I am, every part of me. It is all I choose to be. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Please welcome Rick Busby.
Thank y'all. Good morning, everybody. How's y'all doing? Thank you so much, music team. It was awesome. Thank y'all for letting me sit in. So, how's everybody doing today? Is it a little chilly in the hill country this morning? A little chilly. Got up pretty early this morning, leaving my place. I was a little surprised at the cold. I didn't look at the temperature for this morning. I walked out and I was like, oh, wow, I got to put on a jacket. Yesterday afternoon was so perfect in our place. It was like 74 degrees. But it was a beautiful drive out here this morning. There was hardly any cars on the road. It was just like having the hill country to yourself for the most part. It was really, really great. So we are going to be talking about peace, love, and harmony today, and pretty much every talk that I give, no matter what month of the year it is, peace, love, and harmony are never far from the topic. But the reason why I landed on this was because I speak at Unity in the Heart of Austin on a revolving cast, but they only meet once a month. So they had sent me an email last week, and asking for the talk title, and I sent it off to him, and I was thinking to myself, it's like, wait, they're asking me for the talk title, like I was going to be speaking there this weekend. I said, I'm not going to be speaking there this weekend. I'm going to be speaking in Kerrville, and I had to look closely at the email, and they were asking for March. So I just wound up staying with the topic, just peace, love, and harmony. So I'll be giving y'all the talk today, and then giving it to them next month as well. But like I said, peace, love, and harmony is kind of always involved in the talks that I give. And I'm always astounded as well. I don't look at the daily word until the day of the service, and this morning I didn't look at it until I got here. So when it was world peace and it was talking about love being the harmonizing power, I was like, man, how perfect, is that? The one thing I want to speak into about the daily word is that it was talking about world peace, right? It's talking about that peace in the external world. And one of the things that I've learned, observed, heard from other mystics, you probably have, heard it in one form or fashion or the other, is that as within, so without. That we can't just pray for peace in the external world, that we pray peace for ourselves internally. And as we cultivate and co-create that experience within, then we see it everywhere without, in spite of any kind of evidence that might show up in the world that would tempt us away from that reality of the peace and the stillness. And that's what we practice in Unity. Our third principle is speaking to this, that we're co-creating this experience. We are co-creating this worldly experience by the thoughts and the feelings that we allow to dominate in our consciousness. So as we practice prayers of peace, thoughts of love, thoughts of harmony, and we practice that within, that is how we transform the world. That is how we, in effect, get to that end goal, so to speak, of world peace. That world peace, if peace is going to be, it is up to me, right? It's up to me. And that peace begins within. And so peace is my favorite word, by the way. It is my favorite word, actually, my favorite word even over love, because peace is the condition, the experience that I most highly prize. It's my gauge for how I'm doing in any situation, circumstance. When I'm tempted into fear, and we do get tempted into fear, that's a recurring thing in our daily lives. That, as A Course in Miracles frames it, that's all we're doing is choosing between love and fear all day long in one form after another. And how you'll know if you've chosen one or the other is that if you choose fear, choose from fear, your peace is out the window. Your peace is out the window. Now, we can choose again, as A Course in Miracles, advises and teaches and everything. And when we choose again, the only real choice that we could make is to choose love. Love is the harmonizing power, as Charles Fillmore frames it in the 12 Powers. It heals all discord. It heals all any kind of thing that's getting in the way, creating static in our consciousness, our relationships, our circumstances, our jobs, whatever the case may be, fears over health, whatever the case may be, that when we bring love back into it, then we experience miracles. And as A Course in Miracles says, miracles as such do not matter. They are in fact naturally occurring. The real miracle, the true miracle, is the love that inspires the miracle. The love that inspires the miracle is the true and only miracle. We're not going to get into Dr. Hawkins' work today, but I remind y'all that I've spoken about love when we're choosing from love, that we are at the halfway point on his scale of human consciousness. Calibrates out at about 500 on a scale of 1,000. From 700 to 1,000 is just pure enlightenment. Okay, so you're getting kind of to the top end of the scale. And the bottom line is this, is that the only way that we experience peace, the only way that we experience, true compassion, empathy, the only way that we experience joy, gratitude, is by choosing love. Those are the effects and the consequences of love. We can't choose gratitude without going through the door of love. It's not an a la carte item at the cafeteria. Oh, I'll just have a little gratitude here. It's a bowl of gratitude. No, we have to love, and then the effects and the consequences of love is that we feel that experience of gratitude. We feel the experience of joy. We feel the experience of peace. But love is the choice. Love is the only choice that we're making. So, as I said, every Sunday, no matter where I'm speaking, no matter what the topic is framed by, it's going to get down to that baseline choice that we're making, that we are the ones choosing. Unity principle number 3. We are co-creating this experience by the thoughts and the feelings that we allow to dominate in our consciousness, and those thoughts and feelings that we allow are by our choice. So if we're committed to seeing a world out here, an external world out here that we might feel is burning down, from one perspective or another, and there's all kinds of things out here to correct in the world, and it feels hopeless, like where to start, like which thing do we, it's like playing whack-a-mole, right? Like which thing do we tamp down first? What we tamp down first is the not peace experience in our own consciousness. I want to read, this comes from Matthew 22, verses 36 through 40. And y'all have probably heard this. You'll probably know where it's going as I read it. So Jesus is teaching. They're asking him questions. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All of the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments. Now, let's talk about the love God with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your soul. If God created us in the image and likeness of God, then to love God in that highest sense, which Jesus is pointing us towards right now, is also to love ourselves in the highest sense. To love from that place of divinity, to love from that place of connection with the divine, with God, which also by extension keeps us in connection with everything else and everyone else. Because that is the rarefied air. That is the target, so to speak. That is the point of our walk. That is the destination of our transformation, is to love in heaven that way. Would you like to just love unconditionally, just like as an experience where you don't have any grievances against anybody, you don't have any resistance to loving everybody, that you could just be in a state, in a condition in your consciousness where your default is to love. Not your default is to judge or to separate or to hold grievances, but that your default is to love. That is the walk. That is what we're doing. As we walk that path towards our transformation, we are being transformed even in the journey. But the refinement of that is to make love the default. Anybody ever heard the term love is the answer? No matter what the problem is, no matter what the prayer is, love is the answer. These things don't become truisms by accident. They become truisms because they've been proven in the laboratory of our experience for decades, for centuries, for eons. Love is the only real choice we're making. To maintain peace, I must be unopposed, right? I must be in a neutral state of consciousness where I'm like the Eastern, philosophies and religions, that idea of non-resistance. Be like water, right? Be like water. Don't be opposed to anything because it's in my opposition. I can do it. God won't stop me if I wish to be opposed, if I wish to hold a grievance, if I wish to choose from fear. God is not going to stop me from doing that because we have free will. Right? We have free will. However, I can't choose that in that direction from a place of fear and also be at peace. So what is your goal? If your goal is grievance, just turn on the TV You'll find something to plug into in a heartbeat. Right? We know that. We know that to be true. This is why Jesus also advises, be in the world, but not of the world. And what that means, like, be in this experience, in this worldly experience, but be not attached to that external experience. Because when we do, we take our eye off the ball. So to love God with all of our heart, with all of our mind, with all of our soul, is to love ourselves in that same sense. Then we're loving from the consciousness of God. We're not praying for that to come raining down. We're surrendering into that. And then we're loving from the consciousness of God. And Jesus says, the second commandment is like the first, right? Love your neighbor as yourself. Now, we've heard this in various forms throughout the course of our lives. A lot of people refer to that as sort of the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Love your neighbor as yourself. Well, I want to toss an idea out here for you to test in your own experience. My belief is that I do love my neighbor as myself at all times, in all circumstances. The variable is, how well am I doing at the loving myself part of the equation? I can't love another person in the truest, highest sense of that if I'm also not practicing that with myself. I won't have the bandwidth. I won't have the experience. We truly have to honor ourselves. That's the work. That's how we can change and transform the world, is by transforming our own internal consciousness. Because then we're not praying for something. We're praying from the consciousness that what we're praying for, what we're petitioning for, is already present. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Has anybody ever said that? Y'all say that around here, right? Do we practice it when we go back out in the world after we leave the sanctuary? That whatever else is going on in the world seems to be burning down, and we can't figure out that, and everybody's slinging arrows at everybody else, and we're just trying to duck and just, hope one doesn't rain on me. We can't do anything about that. Y'all have heard before, there will always be wars and rumors of wars. When Jesus says this, he also advises, but be not concerned by these wars and rumors of wars. That's always been going on. Is that, like anybody, we've lived through a little history here in our collective experience around here, right? We've seen some things. Have we ever known a time when the world was ever actually at peace? That's why what Jesus said is true. There will always be wars and rumors of wars. Be not concerned. This is the world giving birth to itself. The work, the spiritual work, the transformative work, is how we can be in the world, not of the world. Because the greatest thing that we can do in our own thinking, the greatest thing we can do to save the world, is to negate the need for ourselves to be saved. That we cultivate in the activity of our thinking and our conscious mind that wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well, in all circumstances. When we condition ourselves, when we practice, and we make that our default, then we experience peace internally. Now, when I turn to love my neighbor, I'm loving myself from a place of peace and safety, because I've done the work internally to do my best to love myself in the most divine possible way. And we all fall short of the glory. Nobody's going to do this perfectly. But if I'm tacking towards that goal, then my expressions of love for other people, my neighbor, so to speak, people I connect with, on a routine, regular basis, and just people in the world that we don't know. Is any of us, like, how many friends do you have? How many people do you know? 100, 200, 1,000, 5,000? Like, you've known a lot of people in your life. Like, you've added it all up. How many do you really know, personally know? There's over 8 billion people on the planet. So no matter how many we know in our own personal experience and everything, it's not even, I mean, it's not even a blip on how many people are potential to know. So when we come from the place where we recognize the divinity, I think that was part of one of y'all's affirmations here about sort of recognizing the divinity in others, helping others to achieve their divine potential. That's part of our mission around here, is to see that divine potential in everyone. We can only do that from love. You can't be judging somebody in fear and also see their divine potential in them at the same time. You can't. It's going to be short-sighted. This is what Jesus means. Love your neighbor as yourself. But the work is learning to love ourselves. Anybody know that Whitney Houston song? It's actually George Benson's song, but Whitney Houston made it famous. The greatest love of all is what? Learning to love yourself. That's why it was a big hit, because everybody recognized the truth. I used to tell people, I don't know what the truth is, but I know it when I hear it. You ever had that before, where you get the skin crawls? Somebody says something, oh, wow, I got goose flesh. That was either somebody was walking over your grave or you just heard the truth. Those were the two answers for that. Oh, I got that just now. Whew. You know the truth when you hear it. You might not adopt it at that moment in time. May still be a tall order to, like, I know that's the truth, but I'm really liking what I'm doing right now, and I think I'm just going to keep on doing it until I accept the truth. Anybody ever done that? I think 12-step rooms are full of people like that. We all have done that. We all fall short of the glory. That's why that's another truism. We all fall short of the glory because we don't express perfectly, although in potential and in our divinity, we are perfect. Our growth, our maturation is in learning to accept that power. Was it the first Spider-Man movie? With great power comes what? Great responsibility. And it's the fear of accepting personal responsibility that keeps people this side of the line. It keeps us, if I do that and accept that I'm a powerful being and everything, then guess what? There goes my victim story. There goes the story I tell about how I didn't get what I wanted because something out here, somebody else out here kept it from me. That victim story, every time we tell that victim story, we're disempowering ourselves. And if that's what we're doing, and that's who we are, and that's how we're loving ourselves, how are we going to love our neighbors? In the same way, in a limited way. That we have to accept our divinity first. We have to accept this relationship, this connection with God, with the oneness with one another in consciousness, even though our bodies seem to convince us that we're separate beings. We're not separate beings. We're one consciousness, manifest in many, many forms, a multitude of forms. But at the level of consciousness, that's where our divine potential is. That's why unity principle, that's why we have a third unity principle, that we are co-creating this experience. That's a truism as we see it in unity, as we teach it in unity. Whether or not I engage with that truth, that's my choice. Right? That's my choice. And sometimes I'm doing well at that, and other times I'm not doing so well at that. At various points in my life, I can look back now, knowing what I know now, and realize that earlier points in my life when I thought I was loving myself, I can see now that I absolutely was not loving myself. Absolutely was not. Running around feeling angry all the time and, being frustrated by feeling impotent in the world, just whatever, okay? It self-diminishes, that self-talk diminishes our belief in our potential. And then, thankfully, on the path, we encounter teachers, right, who go, why are you doing that? Why do you want to be so mean to yourself? And they remind us, oh, wow, I do have power. I can choose differently. Maybe God does love me. God does love you. Maybe we could do a better job at loving ourselves. We could do our part in that equation. When we do, all manner of power, all manner of creative expression, all the the eternal and unlimited capacity and potential for love, all of that is available to us. We have to choose to operate in alignment with it. That's how we get to peace, love, and harmony. And remember, Charles uses that word harmony to describe the power of love. It's a harmonizing power. Resolves all discord, returns everything back to peace. To love unconditionally implies neutrality. Right? Neutrality. Now, a lot of people think that neutrality is a passive thing. It's like, oh, I don't care about that. It's like, no, that's not it at all. Neutrality is like the Eastern philosophy of being like water. I'm being non-opposed. Neutrality is not passive at all. Neutrality is a very powerful energy. Because when I'm unopposed, I'm open. I'm receptive. Maybe it's just me. I could be embarrassing myself, telling on myself. Has anybody ever thought to themselves that they know it all? Oh, I can tell by the laughter that I'm not the only one. I knew everything. Oh, yeah, absolutely know it all. Now, as I've gotten older, I realize how much there is to know, and I realize how little of what is potentially to know I actually do know. But what I have learned is that the power of love is healing. The power of love is transformative. This is not a mere emotional thing, like I love you, Jack. You know, we have a affection, a camaraderie for one another. Love is a creative power. It is the creative power. Nothing that has ever been brought into manifestation has done so without going through love, because love is the creative power. Our goal, our walk, is to get, like I said a while ago, love is our default. Like we don't have to think about it anymore. Because I think fear has become our default. I think a lot of times we try to talk ourselves out of the fact that we're choosing fear so often. Like it just become the thing. It's like, oh my God, did you see what was on the news? Oh yeah, that'll destroy your peace in a heartbeat. I don't care where you are on the spectrum. It'll disturb your peace in a heartbeat. Just turn on the news. That's what the being in the world, not of the world means. It is not an error to say no to that and say yes to something else in consciousness. That's how we transform the world, by being the change, as Gandhi would say, being the change that we wish to see in the world. I can't change Jack. Jack can't change me. I can do my work. Jack can change his work. We can be partners on that path. We can encourage one another, hold one another up, but I can't change Jack. Jack can't change me. Spirit can, when I become open and receptive to be taught, to be changed, to be led by love, and to allow love to lead in my life. Gratefully, I have made some progress, on this over the last near 30 years. Course in Miracles was a big piece of that for me. It gave me the language to think about this in a different way than I had been thinking before. Like what I thought about love, what I thought about peace, what I thought about fear, what I thought about judgment, what I thought about anything. Like A Course in Miracles helped to, as it says, correct my false perceptions and to get me to a place in a language where I could go, oh, wow, that sounds more true than what I've been believing, so I'll try this. Oh, Rick, you're choosing between love and fear all day long. Are you sure? I thought I was doing pretty good at the love part. Like, when did I choose fear? You chose fear when you shrank from your power. You chose fear when you hid, when you held on to something that you didn't want to give away, holding on to it as if the thing is what means something about you, not the thing is just something to help facilitate your transformation. That's all this stuff is. Music, the talks, the structures, all of it is intended to facilitate our transformation, to get into that state of gratitude, that state of feeling blessed, right? To that state, love is the door. Love is the opening door. I'm going to sing a song here in just a few minutes that's going to anchor some of those ideas. And we're going to go from the song just kind of straight into the meditation from the song. I'm just going to do a brief little meditative setup in between the song and the silence. But that's what this song is about. It's about reminding us about what love truly is in our life, what it's intended for. And as we get better at choosing from love, not choosing love, choosing from love. You already are love. You already have infinite, you have more love than you can know what to do with, as my grandmother would say. We have more love than we know what to do with. We're not lacking love. If we're lacking anything, it's putting ourselves in the position to experience that consciousness of love. We are the variable. We are the one choosing. Love never withholds. If I'm ready to sit still, love is going to be right there to inspire. If I'm ready to pray healing, like some healing circumstance in my life, love is right there. It doesn't go, oh, Rick, man, you've been asking for this for a long time. You've been praying a really, really long time. And tell you the truth, I'm busy today, so I'm going to put you on the books for Thursday afternoon at, let's see here, 2:35 p.m. Now, you be right back here at 2:35 p.m. on Thursday, and we'll get to your request. That's not how love operates. Love answers immediately. Spirit shows up immediately. Anybody ever had that? Like, you've heard that, be careful what you pray for, you just might get it. You know? Like when you pray for it and all of a sudden the solution is like right there and you didn't see it coming. It's like, oh, God, I thought it was going to take more time than that. This must be a fake. This must be fake. It can't be that easy. It is that easy. And you'll know that you're operating in alignment with love because you'll feel peace. That will become your default condition. You'll feel joy. You'll feel grateful that you experience peace. And because you know what that work is like to get yourself into that, compassion and empathy for other people arrives along with that because you know how challenging it was for you to get yourself practiced enough to where love was your default. And when love is your default, then you're loving others as you love yourself. You're making tracks at that point in time. You're doing good because you've done the internal work. So choose your goal. If peace is your goal, is peace is your goal? Like, am I the only one here? The peace is. I got just a couple people, just a few people. What do the rest of y'all want? Like, peace for me is the end goal. That's how I know if I'm choosing in alignment with these truth principles that we teach. That's how I know if I'm choosing from that place of unconditional love because I feel peace in my body. Even in spite of what's going on in the news, right? And that's the goal, because that is how we heal the world, by doing the work necessary to heal our own selves. When I heal the separation within myself, when I accept the atonement for myself, I also accept it for each one of you. But I have to accept it for myself first, because if I'm the last holdout and I'm not loving myself, completely by accepting the atonement, then also the way that I can't love others greater than I love myself. It's just not part of the equation. You want to love better? Learn to love yourself better. So with that, we're going to turn our attention here to this song. This song was written by a woman named Leslie Duncan. She was an English songwriter in the early 70s. I believe she passed away pretty early in her life, early 30s, something like that. Elton John recorded this song on his Tumbleweed Connection album way back when, one of the only times Elton had done a cover version, on one of his proper albums. And y'all may have heard this song before, but it's the perfect encapsulation today to remind us about that power of love. And I'll switch over here to the guitar, and we'll do that right now. Invite you all to just let this be the prelude into the meditation. I'll do a little transition piece to set us up for the silence after this, but with that meditative thing, I would encourage you, if you're comfortable, I just encourage you to just gently close your outer eyes and get yourself kind of centered and present, and just take in this song, take in the words. Pull this forward a little bit there. Words I have to say may well be simple, but they're true. Until you give your love, there is nothing more that we can do. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? You say it's very hard to leave behind the life we knew. There's no other way. Now it's really up to you. Love is the key we must turn. Truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom, the lesson we must learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? You know what I mean. Have your eyes really seen? Let's just take that into the silence. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. As we prepare ourselves for that time in the silence, for that sacred communion and connection with the indwelling Christ teacher, we allow all of our anxieties, all of our fears, all of our grievances, anything that's keeping us from our peace, we bring that into our heart right now, and we offer that up at the altar. And we say to that indwelling teacher, please help me to bring love into these circumstances, to harmonize those circumstances that are distracting me from my peace. Show me an experience where the power of love dissolves all of these back into love, and establishing the conditions and the foundation for me to experience peace, joy, compassion, empathy, gratitude. We know this might be a tall order, but we know that with God all things are possible. And so we surrender into that silence, open and receptive, willing to be shown and taught, so that we can practice that expression of love, so that love can be our default action in the silence. As we gently begin to bring our attention back into this sacred space, this sanctuary of community, we do so in the full awareness and the knowledge that wherever we are, God is, and that all is well, all is in divine order. Everything that challenges me is for my transformation. It's for me to practice choosing love. Choosing love in all circumstances, and especially with myself. Help me to love me in the way that you love me. Help me to be an expression of that love, not only to myself, but to my friends, my family, my community, the world at large. I know that as I practice that divine love and allowing that love to express through me, I know that I'm transformed. I know that I'm healed. I know that God's strength and endurance is with me. And for that, and for so much more, I am ever so grateful. And so we all say, thank you, thank you, thank you, living, loving Spirit. We pray all of this and more in the name and the nature of the indwelling Christ. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen.
Thank you, Rick. It was wonderful. Every time you come here, we learn something, so we appreciate it. Is there any first-timers here anybody for the first time? Welcome, welcome. If this is your first time, we're glad that you're here. We hope that you find a place of like-minded people and a place to belong. We teach spiritual tools that can help you, no matter what you're going on in your life. An usher will come by and give you a little packet. Everybody got a packet? If you like to have a packet. If you could fill out the contact form, if you wish to be part of our weekly email newsletter, we'll be sending that to you, so you can understand and learn a little bit about our organization here. we thank you for coming. Now we have an opportunity to support our spiritual cooperatives. Thanking you in advance for your generosity. Please come forward. We bless what you are giving now and join us in our offering affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I send it forth with my blessing and my love and peace. We open our hearts in gratitude as we release these donations. We send these gifts forward through our congregation and into the world, blessing all that it affects. Amen. We have reached the end of our gathering today. If everybody would rise, circle up, join hands, and we'll sing the peace song and the prayer of protection.